All right, so today I wanted to answer a question that I get a ton. And this question is, how do I carry my baby and not mess up my core? So I'm gonna back up so you can see me. I apologize for my hat. It's just very cold here. It's actually not very cold, but I am very cold. Let me just move this back. Okay, here we go. All right, so carrying your baby. So I talk a lot about alignment and the importance of alignment when you are standing and moving throughout your day. So some of the keys of that alignment are getting your hips over your heels. So most of us will stand like this. This puts a lot of pressure on the connective tissue, the linea alba, that connects the two sides of the abdominal muscles. So we take our hips back over our heels, we stack our rib cage on top of our hips, and we make sure that we have a neutral pelvis, right? So a lot of us either tuck the pelvis under and kind of live in this position, or we go the other way and we kind of overly untuck, stick the butt back. We want to have neutral pelvis, hips over heels, ribs stacked on top of hips. But then we're all moms and we've got these heavy little things that we're carrying around all day long, and that throws us off. So how do you carry your baby without messing up your alignment and putting strain on the core? Well, I have a couple ways. I'll tell you both when you're carrying in your arms and carrying in a baby carrier. And just know that for the first few weeks when your baby can't hold their head up, you just got to get through it, right? Like your baby has no head control. You just got to hold them secure. You're probably going to be rounded over. You may be using your hips. That's fine. It's only going to last for a few weeks. This is more for when your baby has head control and you are holding them and they're getting bigger and heavier and you're trying to compensate more and more. And that means you're throwing your body out in wacky ways. So first things first, holding your baby in your arms. What we tend to do, hike the baby up, throw our hip out, usually always on one side. If you think about what this is doing to my core, in terms of keeping the core healthy and safe, we want to minimize pressure inside the abdomen. So that means we want to have the most amount of space in the abdominal canister as possible. When we go like this all the time, we are squashing the abdomen on one side. It increases the pressure. It puts pressure outward on that connective tissue. If you have a diastasis, abdominal separation, it doesn't do good things for that. If your pelvic floor, if you have prolapse or a weak pelvic floor, anytime you increase the pressure in the abdomen, that pressure can go down and strain the pelvic floor. So every time you're doing this, straining whatever is already weak in there. So we want to keep the hips square. So when you pick your baby up, as much as possible, and I know this is hard, hold them in your arms and not in your hips. So that means taking them, holding them in one arm. When that arm gets tired, switch them to the other side, right? Sometimes take them in front, hold both arms. This is gonna be hard at the beginning because your arms probably aren't really strong, maybe some of you are super strong, but for me, that was very hard when I started doing it. But if you think about how much you are holding them, over time your arms will get stronger and it will be easier and you can make it last for longer. So that's really the best advice. Hold them in your arms, one arm, two arms. Make sure you're switching, because no matter what, when you have a weight on one side, it's going to change the way you're holding your torso on the other side. Okay, that's the advice. I know it's not going to be perfect. So there are going to be times when you end up just having to use your hip, right? If you're in that period where your kid needs to be held all the time, it's okay. You're not going to ruin yourself if you use your hip every once in a while. Just be mindful of it and don't hold yourself here for long periods of time. And same thing, switch. I mean, once you start using the other side, you're gonna be like, wow, that feels so awkward. But you want to at least try and create some balance if you are using your hips. Now, as your baby gets even bigger, something I love, I have a almost 4-year-old who is gigantic, but still likes to be carried. Give him a piggyback ride. So if we're hiking or something and he gets tired, rather than me trying to hold him and like walk up a mountain while I'm holding him in my arms, which just is terrible and hurts my back and makes everything feel terrible, I just squat down, let him hop on my back, and then come up. I can hold his butt with my arms. I can My core is nice and spacious. I can engage my belly. I'm not throwing my alignment off. And it's pretty easy then to put him up and down without also throwing off my alignment. Because when he's on my back, I can just come down, he can get off. If you think about when you have a kid and they're on one side and then you take them off, you're usually like throwing them out one direction, which just creates kind of torque in the body. So use your arms, do piggyback rides. Those are my best pieces of advice. Now, if you are using a baby carrier, which I love, I used a ton with my kids, as much as possible, you want to put them in the back. So again, this is when they're big enough, they have head control. So rather than having them in the front, if they will allow it, I know some kids won't, move them to the back. The reason for that is that the back has the protection of bones. So we've got the rib cage, the spine. That helps protect against increasing the intra-abdominal pressure. Whereas when you have a baby sitting on the front, that baby's going to be squashing your belly, increasing the pressure, either putting pressure down onto your pelvic floor or out into your connective tissue. So back carry if at all possible. Then make sure that the straps are fitted properly. So we want a nice tight waistband around our hips, right? If it's loose, we will tend to shift our belly forward just to keep that baby feeling secure. So make sure that that waistband's really secure. Make sure that the shoulder straps are nice and tight so that baby is hugged up into you. Anytime there's slack, you're gonna be moving your body forward. Now, even then, they are going to feel heavy. So if they are on the front, right, if you can't get them to the back, if they're on the front, just please make sure that you're not shifting your hips forward as you get tired. Really keep the hips back, lean forward just a little bit, take breaks frequently. If they're on your back, you can lean forward just a little bit, again, just to kind of counterbalance their weight, and again, take breaks. I think in general, we probably, if we are someone who relies on baby wearing, sometimes we do it for really long periods of time. And no matter what, holding 20, 30 pounds on your body for any long period of time is going to make you compensate in funny ways. So as much as possible, try and take breaks. All right, that's it. I'm gonna just see if anybody had any questions or anything on that. All right, I don't think so. All right, guys, so that's it. Let me know if you do have questions about that. And again, reminder, free live holiday yoga class here on this Facebook page, December 22nd at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you can't make it live, I know that's a busy weekend, then you can watch the recording. So yeah, that's it. All right, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.